As the global economy faces an unprecedented recession, there are warnings that women are bearing the brunt of the economic damage. Well, the International Monetary Fund says that 3 decades of progress towards gender equality is at risk of being wiped out. Well, for more, I'm joined by our business editor, Kate Moody. Kate, why is the IMF shining a spotlight on this right now?
Well, since the pandemic began a few months ago, data from a number of organizations show that women are being hurt even more than men by the pandemic. The OECD even pointed out that women are actually more on the front line when it comes to healthcare services around most of the world. Now, the IMF Managing Director, Kristalina Georgieva, says that it's something that really needs to be addressed as governments put in place stimulus or recovery plans. She highlighted 4 major issues that have had an outsized impact on women since lockdowns began around the world. Women in most countries in the world are more likely to work in social sectors like hospitality, retail, or services, industries that have been unable to operate under their normal conditions during the pandemic. The nature of those jobs means that many women really cannot work from home. The unemployment rate for women has been higher than that for that of men in most developed economies. In developing economies, more women work in an informal capacity, which often means that they're not qualified to receive government support. During the lockdown, surveys show that women are doing an average 2.7 more hours of household work every day than their male counterparts. They also spend more time caring for children, elderly relatives, or sick family members. And girls are also at a higher risk of being pulled out of schools during this period, and that's a problem whose effects could be felt for a very long time to come.
Okay, so some serious issues there. And are there any policies that can help close or at least balance this gender gap, do you think?
Well, it's the same kind of policies that are being advocated more generally to address income inequality and economic growth. In particular, though, the IMF says that lawmakers should include specific aid for families and caretakers both during and after this pandemic. It highlights European governments, including Italy and Austria, who have brought in a legal right to paid leave for parents who have children under a certain age. France, of course, also expanded sick leave for parents that were affected by school closures, although activists say that should really be extended beyond the initial crisis period. Togo, meanwhile, has been singled out for setting up a mobile cash payment system for the people who are most vulnerable. 65% of those using it are women. In the longer term, the IMF says that governments really need to focus on investing in education, subsidized childcare, and paid parental leave to make sure that the post-pandemic recovery reaches everybody.